Welcome to Christian Statesman. I'm your host, Zach Wagner, and this is episode 34. What happens if corruption stands? Have we really considered all of the consequences we will face if we seat a Biden-Harris administration without fully examining the now obvious corruption that permeates our election process? The price of apathy in such a situation is very dire. Have we truly digested the potentially unlawful and devastating promises that this incoming administration has voiced and what it will mean? Is it clear to every listener that the groundwork is laid for serious contention and conflict, and that if all peaceful means fail, as it appears they have, that only kinetic solutions remain? If you wanted a blueprint to divide a nation, the 2020 election has provided a pretty accurate operating manual. Take a people who have always believed they are participating in an election and re-engineer the election to any outcome you prefer. It occurred in numerous states in the presidential election. It seems to have happened numerous of irregularity. These were not primarily political players. They were attorneys, professors, mathematicians, and forensic experts. Combine their analyses with page after page of actual eyewitnesses on site, witnessing mass irregularity, and you have a formula for disaster. Even if all the unwinding of this giant mass of election tomfoolery changed nothing based on the path we are on, it would still cast doubts in the minds of millions of Americans. Doubt gives rise to fear. Fear displaces faith and drives people to places they might not wish to be. Emotions run high on all sides of this issue, but the pointed question remains. If this is not addressed, what becomes of America in the future? We would essentially be witnessing the end of our republic. What is worse is you have mouthpieces like Mitch McConnell or Mitt Romney tossing out rhetoric that seeks to whitewash the whole process, essentially saying, "Nothing to see here, shut up and let our version of democracy work." As we have seen, the folks are growing restless. When a number of people dressed as Trump supporters stormed the Capitol building, Romney stood in front of Congress and said, "What happened at the U.S. Capitol today was an insurrection incited by the President of the United States. Those who choose to continue to support his dangerous gambit by objecting to the results of a legitimate democratic election will forever be seen as being complicit in an unprecedented attack against our democracy." Well, to Senator Romney and others like him, legitimate is indeed a debatable adjective. This little snippet of self-righteousness accurately reflects the attitude of the majority of our lawmakers. It is a sit down, back to your business, and we will tell you what is right and what is good for you, and what our ultimatum is. This will certainly not play well with a large swath of the public, and if our leadership wants more unrest in the country, they are doing a fine job telling everyone to ignore what they can see if they dig just a fraction beneath the surface of the propagandistic mainstream media. Do not believe your lying eyes, we're told. Believe what we tell you. After all, our sanctimonious leaders figure if we elected them, we should get back to Thursday Night Football or the latest reality show and just let them do their job. They know better, after all. But if their job involves allowing runaway corruption in Washington to fester and grow, as the results of this election clearly indicate is happening, the American people just might have something more to say. We have a serious national problem. At least half this country will be unable to accept Joe Biden as a legitimately elected president, especially if the election fraud issues do not get a fair day in court and the evidence can actually be heard. It has been stifled at both the judicial and congressional level from day one. If our so-called elected representatives cannot demand a fair and transparent process to determine if Biden is indeed legitimately elected president or not, they are the ones complicit in fomenting a ground roots-based response from the populace. And we do not know how far or wide that response might be. We Americans are a fairly complacent group until backed into a corner. Our legislative and judicial processes, by their complete ignorance of any of the issues that so many are worried about, have backed us all into a corner that will be difficult to break free from. For this reason, we cannot allow such corruption to continue to stand. Otherwise, we will have to admit our destiny has been snatched from our own hands and placed in a group of overlords we may or may not have selected. And that uncertainty does not bode well, at least for a peaceful or secure future. We thank you for joining us at Christian Statesman today. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, have a blessed day.